Welcome to Meet the Boss Junior. Today I'm speaking with you, Liz Carnabuci, Managing Director of Medtronic Australia, New Zealand. First question, you might know I love cars. What's your favorite car?
Well, Liam, thank you for having me. I actually love cars as well, and I like fast cars. So I've currently got a pretty sporty four-wheel drive. But yeah, I have that because I've got a young teenage son, and there's lots of sport things and friends to drive around. So that's what I'm driving at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, think back to when you were a kid. What did you want to do when you grew up?
Well, that is a great question. So when I was little, so I'm from a pretty big family, and when I was little, we used to play all the time with our toys, and we used to make hospitals, believe it or not. So I always thought that I was going to be a pediatrician, which is a children's doctor. And that's the thing that I was always thinking of. But I think for me, it was always around playing and having fun and really seeing how caring for people was pretty important. And later on, I got to combine all of that with business and medtech. So that worked out pretty well for me.
I want to hear all about your work, but first tell me a story. How did you get to become a CEO?
Okay. Yes. Well, that's an interesting story. First of all, I think I got to become a CEO, managing director, just through a lot of hard work and working with some amazing people along the way. But I certainly started in different places. So right from part-time work where I was in retail when I was at university, but then also did some extra studies, so at hospital, and then of course business study, and kind of combined all of that together. So I got to work in the pharmaceutical industry in sales and marketing eventually, and then moved to medtech. So I've always kind of had that sales and marketing customer interface, but always been in hospitals and medical type situations. So I think also for me, it didn't matter where I was. It was that I had a real purpose behind what I was doing. Yeah. And I was always working with people, and I love working with people. So that was a big thing for me. And then over the years, obviously with building experience and having different experiences and putting myself out there for different projects and those kind of things, I got to be where I am today. But as I said, that wouldn't happen without, certainly working with some pretty incredible people along the way. So just like you, Liam. So I got a really good chance to be where I am now, just really learning from others and being with others, and giving myself a chance to learn as well.
Now tell me about your company. What is your product and who are your customers?
Wow, great question as well. So we are Medtronic, Australia, New Zealand, but we're also a part of a very big global company. So we're the biggest global medical technology company in the world. We were founded in 1949 and in a medical repair workshop by Earl Backen and his brother-in-law. So we are pretty unique. We do a lot of what we call extraordinary engineering. So we have big inventions, and we make and deliver lots of different types of medical technologies. And we do everything from pacemakers to ventilators. So we're in that kind of medical technology health space. We also do surgical robotics, so very different things, and even stuff in diabetes. So we actually touch about 70 conditions in the human body. So, and what we're all about at Medtronic is alleviating pain, restoring health, and extending life. So we use a lot of that engineering in those conditions to try and help people live lives as long as they can, and also their families to kind of see them getting better. So that's really amazing. The amazing things about Medtronic and what we can do to touch patients' lives.
Okay, so what do you love most about your job?
Great question. Well, Liam, if you haven't worked it out by now, I love being with people. So for me, it's certainly the fact that I get to work with some incredibly you know, very authentic, super smart, and really passionate people. So I love working with my team and all the teams that I get a chance to interact with, because we get a chance to really impact patients' lives and clinicians and how they can impact patients' lives as well. So, you know, whenever I see our products coming to life and how they're being used, how they're developed and engineered, you know, they do things like where you've got a very tired grandpa who might have a heart problem, and then suddenly he can really have a different perspective once he might use one of our products to be there for his grandchildren and his family. So and that never ceases to amaze me. I love to see our products and the differences they make. So it's all about, you know, really behind that vision that we have and that mission, and really seeing people live healthy, happy lives is really the thing that I love the most, and that's super rewarding.
So what's the hardest thing about your job?
Well, the hardest thing about my job is keeping up with all the dynamics that we have, right? So you can imagine being in healthcare. There's lots of different diseases that happen, and we've got to come up with solutions and technology that can kind of help in those areas. There's also lots of things happening in different markets as well that we've got to stay on top of, economics and those kind of things. And I think the other thing as well is really just making sure that we stay connected with our people as well, right? That's a big thing too, because we need to make sure that with all of those challenges, things like COVID that we've all been through, that everybody's okay, you know. So I think anticipating that, knowing how to respond, knowing how to make sure that we're addressing those, whether it's for surgeons, doctors, nurses, patients themselves, and our own teams. So lots of things, and I think it's also just making sure that that we keep true to our mission. And I think we spoke about, I'm going to get it wrong, our best workplace here. So Medtronic, we won that again this year, second year in a row, and that's pretty important, because I think that together it means we make a change in medtech in ANZ, which is wonderful. And having that great team, keeping that environment positive, and keeping true to our mission and our vision is really a big part of what we do. And that takes a lot of work.
So what does success look like to you?
Well, I'm going to go back to the comment that I made before. So success to me is where we've got a really positive, authentic workplace where people are being cared for, and also bringing their best selves so that we can really serve patients and our clinicians. And success is also seeing our technology really making a difference. So yeah, I think those two things together, and obviously, you know, keeping top of our game in medtech as Medtronic. So they're certainly the items that I would say are the things that I'm looking to see. They would be my measures of success for sure.
Okay, so what's one piece of advice for me as I think about starting my own company?
Right. Well, first of all, the thing that I would say is that you can do anything you put your mind to, Liam. So that's the first thing. And really be passionate about it. Really kind of think, this means a lot to me, because I think if you do that, then the rest really just becomes a joy. And that would be my biggest advice. Pretty similar to Earl Backen, who I mentioned before, our founder. You know, he and his brother-in-law really kind of set out to make that change in medical technology, and wow, what an impact they made. So, you know, be passionate about it, and find what's important to you and unique to you, and you can do it all.
Okay, looks like that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story with us. Best luck
Thank you.
in the future.
Thanks, Liam. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me today. Really enjoyed it.